But let me ask you this: as far as speaking of people at the highest level, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
I think he's the third richest person in the world currently.
Today.
Today could change tomorrow.
Don't bet against him.
Never would I.
Definitely would.
And that's divorced, by the way. He's third rich divorced. So that's.
And she is I think the third wealthiest woman in America.
So it's like, so you cut his in half, and he's still number 3.
So I want to talk about
That's
this grant,
impressive.
but first, so you were awarded the Courage and Civility Award in 2021. What is that? Can you kind of explain what that actually means? And then we can go into the grant.
Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez, his partner, decided they wanted to give people some incentive for working across the aisle, working with different races, different political people, whatever, and because all the incentives are to not do that. The incentives are the more you can put down the other side, the more attention you get, or the whole game. And so they decided to create this award. It's an annual award. It's $100 million a year. It's not to the individual. So it's not like I have $100 million, now I'm a rich person.
That's the first thing they thinking. Bro, you got 100, let me borrow something.
Yeah, exactly. Don't call me.
I got this idea for you.
Exactly. Nobody's ever said that except
Can I
everybody.
send you my deck?
Seriously, I'm like, I do not have $100 million. It's not for me. It's for charity. It's to support charitable organizations. Basically, gave me the right to direct $100 million of his charitable dollars to causes that I believe in.
But you feel fit.
Yeah, I feel fit. With no board or oversight, I don't have to go back.
You're not handcuffed to make
Not
sure.
handcuffs or whatever. And it's really radical because, a lot of times these billionaires, when they do want to do some good, they'll set up a big foundation, and then the foundation's going to hire a bunch of people, and they all went to college, and they all have big, student loans to pay off, so they got to get big salaries, and they all have laptops. And by the time you finish with all that, most of the money is paying for the foundation. You know what I mean? And the people are not getting that much.
We need to discuss this in Aruba. 13-day retreat.
Exactly.
Retreat on 3.
We're gonna redo our mission statement, and we're gonna bring in 15 consultants for that. And you're just like, could we have 20 cents in the hood? So it was really radical for him to do that. And he also picked Chef Jose Andres, and then he picked Dolly Parton, and they're gonna pick some more. But what was so amazing about it to me was that the way it came about. I told you, Felicia Horowitz, it got me in the room. And then I had a TV show called Redemption Project, where we were talking to people who were formerly incarcerated, people who wanted to make amends. And a woman named Diane von Furstenberg saw that show. She might be the only one that saw it because the ratings were terrible. But
I watched it.
Thank you, brother. You and your mom keep me alive.
Yo, man, we gotta support each other, man.
Yeah, exactly. So Diane von Furstenberg saw the show, and so I'm in this room full of like gazillionaires, and she walks right over to me, and she says, "I love you. I love your show. I want you to meet someone," and takes me by the hand over to Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez.
Where's this at?
This is at Sun Valley. At the same conference.
That's the Billionaire Conference.
The Billionaire Conference.
Ab, can you put that on the notes?
Exactly.
This is like a Davos situation.
Like a Davos type of situation, exactly. World Economic Forum, Sun Valley, these kind of super, super, super exclusive events. And frankly, there's not that many of us there. And when you get there, it's a totally different culture. You may as well be on Neptune. It's like completely different how they talk and how they interact. But instantly, this woman comes over and grabs me by the hand, and she's like the queen mother, which I didn't know at the time, of all Sun Valley. Everybody loves Diane von Furstenberg. And so all of a sudden, without me realizing it, again, doing good, this woman noticed me, and she took me by the hand directly to Jeff Bezos. And it's like people like trying to figure out, it's like double Dutch. People trying to figure out when they can get in and say something. And she just walked, whoop, you should meet this young man. And so because she tapped me on the shoulder, he said, okay. And so we sat down and talked. And the good thing about it was, I was in a good place emotionally. I had some good therapy. I wasn't stressing out. I didn't have a whole big agenda. I didn't expect to meet him in the first place. And so we just started talking from the heart, and mentioned that I had left the Obama White House under fire from the right wing, which is a whole other part of my story. And then somebody who was overhearing it said, yeah, Glenn Beck, and started saying bad stuff about people at Fox. And I said, hold on a second, Glenn Beck is my friend now. And Jeff said, what? I said, yeah, Glenn Beck is my friend.
Glenn Beck, you got a good relationship with Glenn Beck?
I do. I don't agree with him on anything politically, but because he had been the person who had been so hard on me when I was in the Obama administration that I ultimately decided to resign.
What happened with this whole Obama situation?
Okay, so I was working for Obama, and I was working on clean energy and that type of stuff. The right wing really wanted to stop Obama. They just hated him. And at that point, he's the most popular human ever born. You know what I mean? Like, he got a Nobel Prize just for inhaling and exhaling. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, just, I mean, just literally because he exists. I mean, it's never happened before in the history of the Nobel Peace Prize. 60 votes in the Senate. Pelosi ran the House for him. I mean, this dude is an unstoppable juggernaut. And so the right wing has to figure out, well, what can you do to stop this guy? So they try to analyze him. They can't do anything to him. They look at all his cabinet secretaries, just trying to find anybody with any kind of dirt. So they get all the way down to me. I'm a special advisor. Now I'm gonna look. This is a show for business people. Just understand just one thing about politics. If you're gonna meet political people, just understand one thing: the shorter the title, the more power the person has. Okay, president, vice president. See what I mean? So the shorter your title, the more power you have. The longer your title, the less power you have. So if you're secretary of, undersecretary, deputy undersecretary, the longer your title, less power you have. You know what my title was working for Obama? My title.
Green energy specialist.
Hey, listen, special advisor for green jobs, enterprise, and innovation at the White House Council on Environmental Quality. That was my title. Okay, so it's like I was one step above an intern, and yet the media was so fascinated by having this black guy who's from the Oakland area, who's doing all this stuff with solar panels or whatever. I was mediagenic, so they had to short me down to green job czar.
The czar.
Czar.
Ooh.
Czar.
Once they said I was a czar,
that did it.
That was putting a bullseye on my forehead. And so Glenn Beck then decides, okay, I'm going to get this guy. I found him. We came all the way down to the special advisor level, and here's this one black guy who used to sue cops in Oakland, and I was a fight the power, radical black activist. I make no apology for it, because when I was in my 20s, they were building prisons coast to coast. They were, it was right after Rodney King. Mm-hmm. I make no apologies for it. I was on the left side of Pluto, and I would have been further left, but I could have figured it out. And I've never hidden that. I've never apologized for it. If you don't like what my politics were, then the politics for the big people should have been different. Y'all's politics was putting us in prison. We don't have to like that. We don't have to go along with that. But now I'm in the White House.
So what did you do? What did they find?
So they found that I was a left-wing activist. They found that I've been in socialist collectives. They found I was protested, suing cops. They made up some stuff as well. But in those days, you can be controversial and be in the White House. This is Barack Obama's White House. Mm. And we were trying to be as squeaky clean. And so Obama's people said, we want to stay, we want you to stay, we want to fight. I said, no, you don't want me to stay. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you think this little stuff that they've found is trouble, wait till they really start digging. I was at every protest you can imagine. So I said,
that's him. That's him again.
That's him again. That's him again. That's him
you got the Million Man March?
I was not, I didn't, I had the flu.
Obama was, all right?
I think he was.
Yeah, I think he was. I mean, they made that a big deal.
Exactly.
He got the Million Man March. Like a million people was there.
Exactly.
What's the odds?
People.
What's the odds?
Yes, I had the flu. I couldn't go. But so Glenn Beck used that to they did, I think, 17, 18 shows on me alone.
It's like propaganda.
To
make you like an extreme left-wing communist.
Exactly. Communist, black
police,
nationalist, hate police,
solar panels.
Yeah.
And this is the guy that has Obama's ear.
Just trying to give us good energy, man.
They made a
exactly. I'm like just trying to give like solar panels to the hood. Like now I'm like, I'm like Stalin or Mao. So I resigned. And it was tough, man. I was, that was one of the toughest things I ever did, because of course you want to be there with him, with Obama. Of course you want to, all your dreams have come true. You're at this pinnacle of power, and the next day you're gone. And I'll tell you something. We had BlackBerries in those days. And when I was working for Obama, my phone would literally just buzz. I mean, I couldn't eat dinner. I'd be in the shower, come back, 30 messages. I mean, it was just buzz, 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 buzz. And after I resigned from the White House, I was like,
it's over.
Is my battery dead?
New number, who this?
I'm like, is my battery, did they cut me off? Did we pay my AT&T? I mean, nobody reaching out. And so Glenn Beck literally said, I have like, scalp number one. Van Jones is scalp number one. I'm going to get more.
What's scalp number one?
Like I took his scalp.
Oh. He told you that?
No, he said on the air to the whole world.
Okay.
And so when now I'm talking to Jeff Bezos about my life. When this story comes up, somebody who knows said, yeah, and Glenn Beck, took him out, blah, blah, blah. And I said, hold on. I said, Glenn Beck is a friend of mine. And Bezos said, what? I said, yeah, he's a friend of mine. He said, how is that possible? I said, look, I had small children at that time. And I didn't want them to feel that there was some mean guy named Glenn Beck that hurt their daddy because we don't agree on stuff. So I reached out to Beck. And I said, look, I don't care about the public stuff, but you and I need to sit down and talk man to man. And he was shocked to hear from me, and we sat down, and he acknowledged that, of course, a couple of years had gone by. He acknowledged that he would have handled it differently if he had to do it over again. And that was enough for me. So I'm telling this story to Bezos. And Bezos said, I don't think I could do that. I really don't think I could do that. He said, I need to get to know you. He said, that's very interesting to me. And so we just started talking about redemption. I said, listen, man, I go into prisons where young brothers have literally killed other young brothers. And I don't block their blessing from me based on that. They've sold poison to our children. And if I'm going to relate to you based on the worst thing you ever did, we're going to be stuck here forever. I say to those same young brothers, tomorrow's more important than yesterday. What are we going to do? How can you be great? Now, if I can go into prisons and do that, then I look like a big phony. If I then say, but only if you look just like me, no. You voted for Trump, I disagree with you. You sold drugs, I disagree with you. You're on right-wing radio, I disagree with you. But beyond the disagreement, there's something in you that God loves, because you wouldn't be here otherwise. There's something in me that God loves. I wouldn't be here otherwise. So if I'm going to say I'm a person of faith, a man of faith, if I'm going to raise children, in this faith, then I need to be able to show up. It says, love your enemies. It didn't say love your homeboys. It said love your enemies. It says pray for those who despitefully use you. It didn't say pray for your mama. They know you're going to pray for your mama. You got to put that in the Bible. It says pray for those who despitefully use you. Now, if that's the faith, and I'm on a public stage, and somebody does something that's despicable like Beck did, and I can't forgive him, and I'm not willing to reach out or whatever, then, I can't claim my faith. And so it created this relationship, and then between me and Bezos, not based on religion, but just based on, he was just shocked that I'm serious about this stuff. And then Lauren Sanchez, his partner, she's Latina. She comes from the same communities that I'm talking about. And I think it really moved her to see somebody like for real fighting. And by the way, because I didn't hold all these Republicans in a negative light, I was able to work with them later on, a bunch of other stuff. And anyway, pass bills, stuff like that. So at the end of the day, how did I get the $100 million? At a Black woman therapist, Black woman, Felicia Horowitz, who got me in the door, a Jewish woman, Diane von Furstenberg, who brought me over to Jeff, and a Latina, Lauren Sanchez, who said, we need to do something with Van. Feel like not just talk about it, but do something. And so that's the other thing that people need to talk more about. It's often women behind the scenes that are making a way for men, that are opening doors, that are helping out, that are seeing more in you than you see in yourself, that are giving you these opportunities. And then, okay, well, now you see Van Jones and Jeff Bezos shaking hands on stage. There's a whole lot that went on behind the scenes to make that even possible. And then also doing that inner work meant that when I had the conversation, I wasn't having a conversation about, oh, I'm a victim, I was discriminated against, I was mistreated. I had a conversation about possibility and redemption and forgiveness, which I think is the universal language of love that can create all kinds of miracles. It certainly did in my life.